What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily with me, Mike Zakarian. And today we get to celebrate because the Boston Celtics picked up their second postseason victory in as many tries as they go up 2-0 against the Orlando Magic. But it wasn't pretty, and they did it without their best player, their MVP caliber candidate, Jason Tatum. But before we get into it, do me a favor. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button, smash the like, hit the little notification bell so you know next time we drop some sweet, sweet content on you. But let's get into game two. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is not in the running to be the next Pope. Not with that attitude anyways, because in game one, he's the reason Jason Tatum did not play in game two when he had that tough foul at the rim when Tatum was trying to throw it down. KCP comes in, gives him a little bit of an elbow. Tatum injures his wrist. He misses game two. Well, last night in the first half, he gets into it with Big Al. How can you get into it with Al Horford? It's just impressive that he's out there still playing basketball at age 55. He's got that beautiful, beautiful eyelash game going, and yet KCP gets out there and tries to get physical with them. And listen, I don't blame Orlando. They are clearly undermanned and overmatched against the Boston Celtics, so they're just trying to get there any way they can, and that's with physicality. That's with just trying to get inside their head. Well, it didn't work because the Celtics kind of won this one wire to wire. They had a 2-point lead at the end of the first, 3 points in going into half, and then in the third quarter for the second consecutive game, stamp out the opponent here as they won the third quarter 31-24, hold on for a 109-100 victory, and really a team effort from everybody else. And if there was some concern about Jaylen Brown's knee, well, Jaylen Brown answered all of your questions last night because he brought some physicality, he brought some efficiency. He went 12 for 19 from the field, knocking down 5 of his 7 three-pointers, finishing the game with 36 points, 10 rebounds, 5 dimes, a steal, and only 3 turnovers, which is very impressive considering how much he was holding the ball last night. JB, again, had the knee issue, was a little bit concerning. Game one looked a little rusty, but game two with no Tatum understood the assignment and then went out there and dominated. I believe he scored like 8 of the Celtics' first 10 points last night, had a dominant first quarter, setting the tone early, and that's what your second guy does. When your first guy's down, the second guy needs to step up. Unless you forget, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, NBA Finals MVP. JB has been here before, reminded us last night, and to drop 36 against that Orlando defense, which again, we know Orlando doesn't have a ton of offense, but they do bring the defensive tenacity. Last night, JB was just a little too much for them. And one other thing that we've been talking about, we knew that the Orlando Magic would score some points between their two like main guys, Paolo and Franz. But but the real question was anyone else going to step up? Paolo finished the game with 32. Franz finished the game with 25. For you math nerds out there, that's 57 points. After that, not a lot happening offensively. Wendell Carter Jr., their big man, was held to 16 points and 8 boards. Their other starters, Corey Joseph and the aforementioned Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, they combined for a total of 10 points together. And then the bench only got 16 points. 17 points. You got 11 from Anthony Black, who, again, they did give that young guard a little bit more run, which is something to pay attention to as we head back to Orlando for Game 3. Gary Harris gave him 4. And then Goga Bitadze, who we're going to talk about now, only had 2 points. But you know what Goga did do? Goga was out there bloodying up Kristaps Porzingis. Poor KP. Well, can the Celtics just stay healthy? You got KCP going after Tatum, then Al, and then Kristaps Porzingis was getting a little too into Easter. I don't know if you've seen the footage of this yet, but he had what can only be described as a cross of blood coming down his face last night. Luckily, it looked a lot worse than it was. KP was fine, went to the locker room briefly, came back up. And Kristaps Porzingis, again, in a previous video that we did, we talked about game 2 maybe being the KP game because he had only taken a few shots in game 1. But in game 2, asserted himself a little bit more. Part of that, obviously, because Jason Tatum wasn't there. But I do think they have a mismatch. And so KP would be taking him outside a little bit, and then would be like when Franz Wagner would get switched onto him, they'd bang him down low a little bit more. KP had a great game. He finished the game with 20 points. He had 10 rebounds, also had 2 steals and 2 blocks out there in just 34 minutes. I think what was really impressive about this Kristaps Porzingis performance is it could have been even more. He, again, stretched the defense with the 3-point attempts, but did not have any 3-point makes, right? So getting 20 points on over 5 shooting from 3. Really, it's only going to get better from there. But really good win for Boston, showing how deep this team is and how versatile they are, whether they have all of their roster together or if they're down a star like Jason Tatum, just still finding ways to get victory. And again, like the Orlando got to 100 points and it just wasn't enough. And at no point did this seem like a real threat for Orlando to steal this victory at home. So Boston did what they were supposed to do. They win their first 2 games. They hold home court. They now head to Orlando, which actually game 3 is on Friday. I think I gave you fake news yesterday saying the game they had until Saturday, but their next game will be in Orlando at Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. But the real question is, are we going to get our star back for game 3? Is Jason Tatum going to be ready? I think one of the good updates that we got yesterday is they did not rule Jason Tatum out until about an hour before the game, and he was doubtful the whole time. So it wasn't like it seemed like he was going to play, but the fact that they waited until right before tip to officially rule him out is a pretty good sign that he's not too far removed from playing basketball. He went through some normal workouts yesterday, didn't participate in shoot around in like his pregame workout with everybody else. But it does seem like he's going to be good to go for game 3. There isn't too much concern long term. Or Boston could take the approach of being like, maybe we rest him for game 3 as well and like get him super, super healthy for game 4 so we don't have to push it. But again, as we mentioned previously, this injury, though it is a pain in the butt for Tatum or a pain in the wrist, if you will, it's not like a long term thing. This really is just a pain tolerance thing that only should take a couple of days to get over. So hopefully Tatum is ready to go for game 3. But again, it's round 1. It's the Orlando Magic. No disrespect, a little bit of disrespect. The Celtics should be fine, like we saw last night, if they decide to rest him a little bit. But we hope he's back out there, mainly because we don't want to be pushing JB so much so soon, right? We know Jaylen Brown was just incredible last night, but you don't want to force it too much that now all of a sudden he's overexerting himself, and then that becomes a problem later down the line. The good news is, though, the Celtics, as they cruise to go up 2-0, Game 3 of the Knicks and Pistons is actually tonight. That series is 1-1, and that looks like it's going to be a dogfight and could be a long series. So if things go according to plan and Tatum does, in fact, come back for Game 3 and the Celtics are able to close out the first round in a nice bring out your broom sweep in 4 games, that should give them plenty of time to not only rest but also game plan for round 2 for whoever they're going to play in the New York Knicks Pistons first round series. And again, hopefully that series goes 7 games, and so that they are exhausted. All we need is Thibodeau just playing those Knicks 45 minutes a game. So that'll be tonight for Knicks and Pistons, and then the Celtics and Magic Game 3 Friday at 7. Very excited to just be in these playoffs, man. The Celtics look good. Missoula's already got crazy quotes saying last night after the game he likes seeing Porzingis' blood. What a wild man. What a wild man. But so the Celtics are in good shape moving forward. Let's just kind of do a collision course here, talk a little bit about what is probably going to be the Eastern Conference Finals. Again, knock on wood, the Cleveland Cavaliers rolled last night. They continue to show that they were the best team in the regular season, at least in the Eastern Conference, winning that game 121-112 against the Heat. Heat kept it a little spicy last night. They kept it a little bit close, but again, Cavs are just too much, man. Donovan Mitchell continues to be an incredible postseason performer when it comes to getting the ball in the bucket. He had his second 30-point game in as many games this postseason, having 30 points, 6 boards, and 6 dimes. Mobley showed up with 20 and 6. Garland gave him 21, 14 from the Strussi, and 12 from DeAndre Hunter off the bench. It seems inevitable, insert Thanos meme here, that the Cavs are going to take on the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm here for it. I think that's going to be such a fun matchup. I think these teams match up well. Their best offensive performers are their perimeter guards, and our best defensive players are our perimeter defense and our wings. So I think that's going to set up for a great series. One other note, too. In the Western Conference, I know we focus on the Celtics here. There was a big injury last night. Jimmy Butler fell hard on his butt. They called it a pelvic injury, and he missed the rest of the game last night. This happened early in the first half. Houston Rockets end up going on and winning this game, so that series is 1-1. I believe their next game is also on Friday, and so it's still to be seen if Jimmy Butler is going to be able to play in Game 3. Oh, nope, I'm incorrect. Their next game is on Saturday, so maybe that extra day of rest will get Jimmy back out there. You hate to see injuries play a massive role in the postseason, but of course, every single year that is what happens. So hopefully Jimmy gets well soon. But that series is 1-1. So the East seems to be going chalky. We get the Pacers are up 2-0, the Celtics are up 2-0, the Cavs are up 2-0, and really the only series that seems to have a little juice in it is the Knicks and Pistons. And I'm ready for Game 3 tonight, and then I'll be ready for Game 3 on Friday as Boston heads to the happiest place on earth, or whatever we call Disney World. Well, let's bring some sadness. Let's bring some pain to Mickey Mouse, shall we? I appreciate everybody tuning in today. Thank you for watching the Celtics Daily. Hit the subscribe on the way out, and we will see you next time.